Now we should start our new lesson, and already we have come to know that English has derived from the West Germanic variety of dialect of Germanic language, which belongs to Indo-European family of languages or Indo-Germanic family of languages. And at the same time, our Aryan, the Sanskrit language also Sanskrit or the modern Indian languages like Bangla, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, all these languages are also from the Aryan family, Aryan language, and this is basically also the part of the member of the Indo-European family of languages. And let me give a very striking example. Sanskrit word bhu means hawa, bhu means bee. So look at the point is that bhu as in English is b means that means b has the different forms like am, is, are, was, were. So look at the point is that again the same time I am mentioning that one, the bhrata in Sanskrit is the bhrata, in Bangla bhai, and in English is brother. So bhrater has become brother in English, Germanic word. Now I have to talk something on the change of language, evolution of the language from the Old English period to the modern English period. So for that we have to look at the Old English English language, so that it can be more better. We can get a clear idea about that. For that we need to address this history of the Old English language. History means from Old English, journey of Old English language from Old English to modern English. So if we look at the Old English language, we can find that the pronunciation part, in Old English time, the pronunciation is basically, look at the point is that I am mentioning certain words, you can understand that from that one. Old English was stan, S-T-A-N, now is modern English is stone. And then halig, so holy, gan, G-A-N, gan, now is go. Similarly, wrap, rope, then you find the word like bat, boat, B-O-A-T. Then feeve, five, fought, F-O-T, fought, now is F-W-T, foot. And then F-Y-R, feed, and now is a fire. H-U, who, is now is Old English, modern English word is how. And similarly, H-U-S, hush, now is a house. H-O-U-S, house in body. R-I-H-T, writ, now is a right, R-I-G-H-T. And very interestingly, see these are the pronunciations, you can understand that how the vowel has changed. And also the C has become CH now, child, C-I-L-D, now is child. So now we pronounce it. I mean, similarly, we will find that one SC has become SH or SK. SH means SC IRTA, and now SHIRT, shirt. So these sort of things have happened. And then if we look at the spelling part, spelling is basically look at the point. TH is, and in modern English we use TH for th and the, but in Old English time there's a different letters, th and the. Similarly, we use A, B, C, first letter A, now for all kinds of the A, O, F-L-L, fall, then B-A-T, bat. But Old English time, for A, there's for A sound, there's this one letter. So they write H-A-T, instead of the H-A-T hat, they write H-A, and this symbol is, they use that symbol, A-E mixed symbol. And SC they use for SHIP, SHAAP, sheep, and then they use CYN, C instead of K, KIN, kin, they use C. And similarly, SP, C, now SPWCH, speech. And then ECG, look at the point, ECG now, EDG, edge means dhar, basically the kinara, brim, edge. So in that way, then we find the pronunciation has changed, the spelling has changed, and if we come to the vocabulary part, we'll find that most of the vocabulary of Old English period have disappeared. And nowadays we find that most of the words, 85% words, basically, when 90% words, Old English words have disappeared, and that their places have been taken up by, have been occupied by foreign words. Foreign words means French words, Latin words, and other languages. The words from the other languages, and that took place basically. I will talk later that how the influences took place, and from the Denmark, Sweden, the Scandinavian part, from French language, France, from Latin, and then after that American English. We find that there is the words from the colonies. All have been taken up by English, and English now that's why English is called omnivorous language. So omnivorous omnivorous means it can consume everything. A person omnivorous, man is omnivorous, means man can consume everything. And in terms of the vocabulary part, we find that they tried to develop their own vocabulary. They have tried to use their own vocabulary. And because at the time only Christianity came up, and because of the Christianity, certain words, Christian terms like priest and other things, and church-related words entered. But other than that, not too many words from the foreign languages. But I am telling you that one very interesting point is that only these people actually could create their own compound and could create the new words from the by through translation. Look at the point is I am giving an example of gospel. Actually, gospel this word actually due to Christianity and this word entered into the English language. Actually, that's basically very interesting point is that Greek word is euangelion, euaggelion. Again I am repeating euaggelion. Eu means good, and in Old English is called God. Good. Old English word God is now good, and agelion means news or khabor. That means news, and it's called a spell. So they translated into euangelion into God spell, God, God, because God is good, bhalo, shu, and spell means khabor. So euangelion means actually the good news or the good information, God, good words from the God or the Son of God, Christ. So euangelion has been translated into God spell. Now it is we pronounce as through modification is when gospel. So gospel basically, look at the point. Gospel is an example of excellent example of the translation made by the Old English people, and then now we use the word. Similar word is that hidden and then other ones. Very interestingly, let me talk about another very interesting point. That is that you find the word husband. Husband means actually that word is derived from it's a compound. It means homash. The two words have been combined. Hus, H-U-S, hush means house. I told you that before sometime before that H-U is hush, now house. So house, B-O-N-D, bond means bound, ghore bondi. So house, husbanda, now it's basically husband. So again is compound, wife, W-I-F, wife plus man, now woman. So these are the compounds. Again, that means man is female. Similarly, another very interesting D-A-G, dag means actually Old English word D-A-G, dag, now D-A-Y, day. Dag, red, R-E-D, red means color, means lal color. Dag means din, and then red means color. So dag red, look at the point, that dag red is basically, and this is a compound, this means Samash Baddha Shabda, this is basically a compound to refer to dawn, D-A-W-N. Now you use the dawn, but in Old English they created a new compound, they could not find the word and they made it the word, that's D-A-G and red, dag red. So again a compound. These are the things. Other than that, let me come to the grammar part. Very, very crucial, and that's basically that. And all these words are gradually changed into different forms, and through the pronunciation part, interaction of the pronunciation, interaction of the spelling, and the guys gradually they modified all these things, and now we use the modern English. But and that's why through the Middle English period, basically that's why Middle English period is considered as the transition period from Old English to modern English. I knew that. Look at this one, the modern English. Basically, the point is that a transition period, Middle English period, they changed all kinds of things. So that way, through the influences from the other from the foreign languages, through the changes in the academic world, in the cultural world and everywhere, and they try to simplify the English language, and they try to make it more better one, and they try to consolidate their language for their economic purpose, for the academic purpose, business purpose. You can say economy means business purpose, because a civilization can proceed, can progress only if the language, its language also functions properly, because the language has a very crucial role in the development of the civilization that we find. Now let me come to the grammar part of Old English period, Old English language, and then we'll make a comparison between Old English and Modern English, and that means that all these changes took place basically during the Middle English period. So I'm not mentioning that, and we will come to know that from this one. And in Old English period, the nouns have Old English basically language, which is basically considered. There's so many inflections. They use the inflections means actually the number, gender, case, karok, and tense system. So all these kinds of words they try to maintain those. Because these are basically found in Germanic language, these are found in Sanskrit language. You know that, those who know Sanskrit, those who have studied Sanskrit, they know that. So nouns, they singular one form, then they have that, they have their what do you say, plural form. Then they are, according to that one, they have different sounds. So suppose you use the word John. John in singular is used, if it is used as an object, subject, object, genitive, then means possessive marker, is a direct object, whatever may be used, they use different vibhaktis, different case markers. But now we do not use. We went to John, or John went there. John, it is John's property. The apostrophe is only we use. Otherwise, no, do not use. Only for genitive we have that. For possessive form we do not. We have. For your better understanding, I am talking of that one. Look at one example. Suppose take the word like EARL. Earl means jomidar, landlord. Earl in subject position. They in Old English period is called EORL. Eorl. Old English word is EORL, and now Modern English EARL. And then Eorl in subject singular. Eorlas as by adding plural as has. Then is in genitive, then apostrophe is form eorless. Es, they use apostrophe and es. Then eorla plural genitive form, that means possessive form. Apostrophe s form now earls, earls apostrophe s, and in that we do not need apostrophe only in Modern English. And then eorle, eorle for an indirect object. Then eorlan for the plural form of the indirect object. Then direct object is that eorl, and in plural eorlas. See this sort of, if we need to remember all these sort of things, the subject position, object position, genitive one still we mention, because apostrophe as we use. So I will talk sometime later. And then see this sort of thing. Then ox, I am giving you the example, ox, and ox plural is oxen. But you see, oxen, then oxa, they call it on English period oxa. Now oxa, oxan, oxen, and oxan. So in that way, then look at the point is that only we find in certain point is that there's a different forms they use it. In this way, if we look at dr, d-double-e-r also, there's basically point is that. I'm not going to discuss all these things, but this is the examples of that one. And then they have their different suffixes for plural forms, according to the word, according to the structure of the word, according to that is a concrete word or an abstract word. If it is basically there's different inanimate for that, they have different plural markers. They are also different apostrophes, like that means possessive marker. And for the AS, ES, EN, AS, AN, EN, and there are so many forms, as some examples I have given you. And now we find only the modern English video. In modern English video they try to minimize that one, and now we have the only AS, ES or ES. We use DOG plus S, dogs plural form, and D, that means another one is the ES, church, churches, bus, buses. Pronunciation differs. I am not now discussing that one because plural pronunciation differs. Similarly, apostrophe S also has only we use apostrophe S. And in certain cases we know very well the man, men, by plural, for forming plural we use vowel change. Food, feet, that's also the things happens. And another very interesting aspect of that one, দেখতে পাই যে অনেক সময় সিঙ্গুলার প্লুরালে কোনো চেঞ্জ হয় না, যেমন শিপ, SHPP, শিপ সিঙ্গুলার, শিপ প্লুরাল, ডিয়ার, DER, ডিয়ার প্লুরাল is deer. And these are the things that happened in that one. And then in case of the article use, there are as many as 28, normally it's called 28 forms of the definite article. Now we use only the, the or the. We pronounce it into two forms, the and the. I am talking later. So there are as many as 28 forms. Why? Because if the singular noun is singular, singular plural, noun is basically in genitive form or possessive form, or direct object, indirect object, animate, inanimate, and then before that what adjective has been used, these sort of things are there, and according to that one they use the selection of the definite article. Now we use only the, the and the. The is used before a consonant. If the word before the word begins with a consonant, the cow, and if it's a vowel, then it's the elephant. Elephant E vowel. That's why it's the elephant. The elephant. So this sort of minimization took place. And next part is that if you look at the adjective also. Adjective also there are several forms. If the animate, the good becomes different. The good, all English called God, and God has different forms. So this happened, and at the same time now come to the gender system, because all we are talking about the grammar. Look at the point is the gender is also the inflection. In Old English video, gender was grammatical gender, and not sex-based gender. Now it is male and male, female. But in Old English period, it is not that. According to the structure of the word, suppose very interestingly, suppose sun is, I told you that one time, sane, and sun in Old English period is called sane, and sane is basically masculine, whereas mona means moon, MONA, mona is now in the moon, mona is feminine, and at the same time megdar, girl is neuter gender. So look at the point is that according to the gender system, at the same time according to that verbal agreement will take place in Old English period. Look at this one. In Hindi it's still it is there. Ja raha hu, ja rahi hu. You do not verbal system will tell you that, but in Bangla it is not there. It is already gone. Bangla has already lost it. Means in English, in Hindi we have that one. Ja raha hu, that means a male person speaking, and ja rahi hu means a female person speaking. So male female distinction in case of the gender system that was present in Old English period also, the grammatical gender system. Now we use the natural gender system. Natural gender system means male, female according to the sex. And all these sort of changes, all these sort of things, they mean inflections based. Inflection means আমি বলছিলাম যে গ্রামাটিক্যাল স্ট্রাকচারের জন্য যে সমস্ত যত ওয়ার্ডস, যে সমস্ত বিভক্তিগুলো, যে সমস্ত সাফিক্সেস অ্যান্ড প্রিফিক্সেস we use for gender, for number, singular, plural, and for case system, karok, and then we use for the verbal system, tense system. So tense, number, gender, all with different forms. These decide the function of the words. একটা ওয়ার্ডের কি ফাংশন সেটা বোঝা যাবে from the inflections, from the attachment of the prefixes and suffixes. Suppose example, যেমন বাংলাতে এখন সেরকম আছে, যেমন সংস্কৃত রামা বনম গচ্ছতি. If you change the word order, meaning will not change. In English, Old English also, meaning did not change because of the change of the word order of the words. কারণ কি? because all the words in a sentence, they are basically, their function is determined by the inflections, by the suffixes or prefixes. এই সাফিক্স প্রিফিক্সগুলো তারা কী ফাংশন, সে সাবজেক্ট না অবজেক্ট না ভার্ব সেটা বলে করছে, কিন্তু গ্র্যাজুয়ালি they reduce those affixes, inflections. Look at the point is that suppose ভার্বের ক্ষেত্রে I go, we go, you go, he goes, they go. কিন্তু in Old English period is a verbal form as an elaborate verbal forms, as we find in Sanskrit, gacchati, gacchato, gachanti, in that way. And Germany also, in Germany, but English has already kept only in the third person singular number, go, goes. Otherwise you do not get it. In past tense form only went. So that way a huge number of inflections, suffixes have been reduced. And that's why কি হয়েছে আগেকার ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজের Old English পিরিয়ডের ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ, that is basically synthetic language. It's called synthetic language কেন না, the change of the order of words does not bring about the change in meaning. order of word কে চেঞ্জ করো, আমি ভাত খাবো, রামা বাদাম গচ্ছাতি, বাংলাতে যে আমি ভাত খাবো, ভাত আমি খাবো, আমি ভাত খাবো, কোনো মিনিং চেঞ্জ হবে না, সে বেসিক মিনিংটা চেঞ্জ হবে না. Similarly in Old English period also they have that sort of things. So that is basically point, that's called synthetic language. মনে থাকবে তো, synthetic language basically governed by inflections, governed by this sort of suffixes. Function of the words are determined by this affixes and inflections. Now modern English language is basically analytic language. Why analytic language? Because analytic language কি হয় না, order of words change করলে meaning change হয়ে যায়. John hit Jill. So if you change the order of word, meaning will change, meaning will shatter, no meaning will be there. So you know that one. So order of words fixed, because already we have reduced the number of inflections. Because John hit Jill, we do not have the object does not have any sort of suffix. Object is not determined by the suffix, and at the same time subject is also not determined by the determined by the suffix. So keeping in mind this one, that means reduction of this one, reduction of the inflections, the suffixes has converted the language, changed the language from its synthetic nature to analytic nature. So journey from Old English to modern English is a journey from synthetic language to analytic language. Now these are the points I am mentioning. And let me tell you one thing, that then Old English has so many kinds of what is called suffixes, native suffixes. Now we use certain suffixes, li you use, and then dom, hood, sheep, lessness, all these sort of suffixes we use. And because of these sort of use of the suffixes, adjective, and adjective also has some forms, the gender I have talked about, that one, verbal system I have talked. And through this one, the Old English has undergone changes due to these influences, due to the academic development, and due to this one. And gradually the language basically came to take the shape during the period of Chaucer. And in the 14th century and 15th century onwards, that means gradually the Renaissance took place in Europe, and London became the center of all kinds of academic, administrative, political activities. And because of that, London academia, the people who are basically dominating, politically dominating, academically dominating, and because of that London language, I mean London centric language, became the standard language of England in the 15th century onwards. And that because this is the academic center, this is the political center, and that takes place. This is called basically, the Middle English has different dialects, Southern West Midland dialect, East Midland dialect, and gradually East Midland dialect became the dominating language, dominating dialect, and dialect became the standard variety of the standardized, that has been gradually standardized because of this academic economic power of the center, because this is basically that point is that. So I have talked about that one, how English is now being used. English is simplified the system. English was so I'm saying that so complex during the Old English period. And that's why, because of that, we can, if we try to read Old English, we cannot read it nowadays, because we can, most of the, this is a foreign language, totally, entirely foreign language nowadays, because 10%, if you studied in this way, that way I told you that one, then you can read, but to get the meaning, it will be difficult, because there are so many words have disappeared. Most of the words, 90% vocabulary of the word, and only that we in our family life words like husband, wife, child, and this sort of words, kitchen, basically kitchen, domestic words, basically are nowadays found in Old English. For example, the word like ARER, we are using, but actually it was not in Old English. It was basically sin done. Now we use R, and that's all. Another point I'm mentioning, that one Old English language is called another important aspect is that style. Old English use. There are two types of styles, so the hypotactic style and paratactic style. Hypotactic style means the standard language, which is basically full of long sentences, full of you can say that. But in Old English Speakers language is basically paratactic language, basically very short sentences, and within the short there are so many embedded sentences, which is very difficult, not very long complex way, and they could not prepare the sentences. And I want to read from that, if I get that book, so that immediately. This is that is all about that one, so that it can be made. This is basically the idea we get it from this. Suppose I'm from the boy and cable. I'm telling you that one. One of the most dominating feature of syntactic style in any language is a degree to which grammatical and semantic relationships are expressed by subordinate clauses. A high proportion of long sentences with subordination, as in the prose of Edward Gibbon or Henry James, or the poetry of John Milton, long sentences, I'm saying subordinate clauses, is known as hypotactic style. Please remember, hypotactic style. And whereas shorter sentences and a higher proportion of principal clauses, but is in the prose of Ernest Hemingway, is paratactic, and parataxis may also be interpreted as immature and childish, as in the example given by the S.O. Andrew. Then I asked him. Then he replied. They came to a place on the road. There stood a temple. There lived in the convent a certain monk. But he called Martin. He was called Martin. He said, in that way. That means very short sentences. Maximum number of short sentences, and number of principal clauses basically more. This is called paratactic style. So Old English style is basically called paratactic style. I am given this example because this is to give you example from modern English, not from the Old English, because Old English is basically very difficult, very tough. Okay, thank you for patient hearing. I hope that you will listen to it, and you will come to know about that one. If you have any question, then talk to me or phone me. Thank you.